Good morning, wherever you are in the world. Get ready to shift, get ready to move, get ready to chase something that was always meant to be yours. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you were running in circles? Like life had you on a treadmill, sweating, struggling, grinding, but you weren't getting anywhere. You were busy, but not productive. You were active, but not advancing. You were living, but not fulfilled. Let me tell you something, and I want you to hear this with every part of your being. When you chase purpose, purpose starts chasing you back. You see, most people are out here chasing money, chasing titles, chasing applause, chasing approval. They're chasing things that vanish as fast as they come. And when you chase things that don't feed your soul, you'll always end up starving. Purpose is different. Purpose is permanent. Purpose is that whisper in your soul that never goes away. You know the one I'm talking about. That tug on your spirit when you're working a job you hate. That voice in your head saying, you are made for more. That fire inside you that refuses to be put out. I want to tell you a story. There was a young man who used to sit in the back of the classroom. Every day he'd get laughed at. They called him dumb. He struggled to read. He struggled to keep up. But there was something different about him. He had a dream. Not just any dream, a purpose. He didn't want to be average. He didn't want to just exist. He wanted to make a difference. People told him to be realistic, be practical. They said, stick to what you know. But something inside him refused to accept a life of mediocrity. And you know what happened. He stopped chasing validation. He stopped chasing people's approval. And he started chasing purpose. And when he did, life started chasing him back. Opportunities showed up. Doors opened. People he'd never met showed up just to help him, not because he was lucky, but because he was aligned. See, when you chase purpose, you're no longer operating from your head alone. You're moving from your spirit. And the moment you line up your actions with your assignment, the universe starts rearranging itself on your behalf. Let me make it plain. When you chase purpose, money starts chasing you. When you chase purpose, peace starts chasing you. When you chase purpose, the right people start finding you because purpose is magnetic. Purpose attracts. When you walk in your calling, the right connections come. Not because you're the loudest in the room, but because you're in the right room. You hear what I'm saying, but here's the truth. Purpose will cost you. You will lose some friends. You will be misunderstood. You will face resistance. You will have days when you feel like quitting. But don't stop. Purpose isn't easy, but it's worth it. Let me tell you something real. Comfort zones are beautiful places, but nothing ever grows there. Purpose demands that you grow, that you stretch, that you show up for yourself even when nobody else claps for you. Purpose says, keep going even when you're tired. Purpose says, keep believing even when nothing around you makes sense. Purpose says, you don't need all the answers, you just need the courage to start. And some of you right now, you're one decision away from stepping into the life you were born for. One decision away from walking into your purpose, but you're scared. You're waiting for the perfect moment. Let me help you. The perfect moment doesn't exist. Start with what you have. Start where you are. And if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but move, because purpose doesn't find the lazy. Purpose doesn't chase the afraid. Purpose meets the person who moves with faith. Faith is the engine of purpose. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Now listen. Every champion you admire, every giant in your industry, every world changer, they all started the same way, uncertain, unqualified, unsure, but unwilling to quit. They chased purpose, and it chased them back. I came here to remind you, you are not random. You are not here by accident. There is something in you that the world needs. There's a book in you, a business in you, a breakthrough in you, but it won't come alive until you do. So stop waiting, stop shrinking, stop apologizing for your greatness. You don't need permission to be powerful. Chase purpose, because when you do, blessings will start finding you, clarity will come, healing will happen, favor will follow you. You won't have to force it anymore, because when you're walking in your purpose, What's meant for you will start chasing you down. I don't know who this is for, but you've been doubting yourself too long. You've been playing small too long. You've been surviving. Now it's time to start living, because when you chase purpose, purpose chases you back with interest, and you'll realize that everything you were chasing was waiting for you to chase what you were born to do. So go get it. Your purpose is calling, and it's time to answer. We live in a world addicted to validation, a world where likes, shares, and attention have become the currency of value. People will measure their worth by how loud the applause is, how many followers they have, how viral their moments are. But applause is temporary, it fades, it comes and goes with the mood of the crowd, and if you build your identity on the applause of people, then the moment they stop clapping, you stop believing. That's a dangerous game to play. Purpose, on the other hand, is internal, it's rooted, it doesn't depend on outside noise, it comes from a deep knowing, a conviction that says, this is what I was born to do. Purpose wakes you up in the morning when motivation fails. Purpose fuels your persistence when no one's watching, when no one's cheering, when no one even believes in you yet. It's what keeps you showing up, even when the results haven't arrived. Applause might get you started, but only purpose will keep you going. Many people chase applause because they want to feel seen, but being seen is not the same as being fulfilled. You can have a stage and still feel empty. You can have a crowd and still feel alone. You can go viral and still not feel valuable. That's because applause feeds your ego, but purpose feeds your soul. And when your soul is fed, you don't need the world's approval to validate your journey. You're not driven by noise, you're led by vision. There's a reason so many burn out chasing fame, chasing clout, chasing the next big moment. Applause is a high, and like all highs, it doesn't last. Once the moment is over, once the spotlight shifts, what's left? That's where purpose matters, because purpose gives you something applause never can, direction. It gives you identity beyond your image. It gives you strength in the silence, and when people forget you, purpose remembers you. When people overlook you, purpose still includes you. You've got to ask yourself, are you building for applause, or are you building for legacy? Applause makes you popular for a moment, but purpose makes you impactful for a lifetime. People will forget your name, but the fruit of your purpose can outlive you. That's the kind of success that matters. Not the kind that trends, but the kind that transforms. Not the kind that impresses, but the kind that influences. You don't need to be loud to live on purpose. You just need to be true. There are people on quiet paths, in hidden places, doing purposeful work that is changing lives, and they may never be known by the masses. But they are known in heaven. They are known in the hearts of the people they serve. That's the power of living from purpose instead of performance. When you chase applause, your decisions become reactive. You start bending yourself to fit trends, to fit opinions, to fit into spaces you were never called to occupy. But when you chase purpose, you walk in truth. You move with intention. You create, lead, build, and serve from a place of wholeness. And that kind of leadership rooted in purpose is unshakable. That kind of person can't be manipulated by opinions or derailed by rejection. The world doesn't need more performers. It needs more people on purpose. People who will show up even when no one claps. People who will do the work even when the stage is empty. People who understand that real fulfillment doesn't come from what you get. It comes from what you give, who you serve, and why you show up in the first place. Effort is essential. No one succeeds without hard work, consistency, or discipline. But effort alone is not the full equation. You can grind day and night, burn out your energy, give everything you've got, and still feel stuck. You can be the hardest working person in the room and still watch doors stay shut, opportunities bypass you, and progress stall. That's because effort without alignment is like rowing a boat with all your strength in the wrong direction. You're moving, but you're not arriving. Alignment is about being in sync with your purpose. It's about clarity. It's when your values, your vision, and your actions are pointed in the same direction. When you are aligned, you're not just busy, you're effective. You're not just working hard, you're working right. You don't have to chase everything because the right things start recognizing your presence. What was hard becomes smooth. What felt distant starts to approach you. That's the power of alignment. People spend years putting in effort toward careers, relationships, or goals that are misaligned with who they truly are. They do it out of habit, out of fear, or because it's what they think they're supposed to do. But misalignment creates resistance. It creates burnout. It creates confusion. When you're out of alignment, even your greatest strengths can feel like weaknesses. But when you are aligned with your calling, everything shifts. You begin to experience flow instead of force. You start seeing results that effort alone could never unlock. There's a difference between pushing and positioning. Effort pushes, alignment positions, and position is power. When you're aligned, you are in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing with the right people. And that's when acceleration happens. Not because you worked harder than everyone else, but because you worked in harmony with your assignment. Some doors don't open by strength, they open by strategy, and alignment is the strategy of the soul. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. Alignment teaches you to focus, it tells you what to say no to, it gives your effort direction. There are a lot of people doing too much in the wrong spaces, trying to earn what alignment would have brought with ease. The reason it feels so hard sometimes is because you're giving your energy to things that don't align with your destiny. But when you shift into alignment, effort becomes more fruitful. A single move in alignment can do more than 1,000 moves made out of fear or pressure. Opportunities are drawn to alignment. The right people, the right connections, the right timing. They are not just about hustle, they're about harmony. People can feel it when you are walking in your truth. You carry a different energy, you speak with conviction, you make decisions with clarity, you no longer chase, you attract, not because you stopped working, but because you started working from a place of truth. Effort is what you bring to the world. Alignment is what the world brings to you when you show up as your authentic self. The reward for being in alignment is not just success, it's peace. It's knowing that you're doing what you were made to do. It's knowing that your work is not in vain. You're no longer climbing ladders that lead to nowhere. You're building a life that reflects your purpose. The struggle doesn't disappear, but the resistance does. You still work hard, but the work feels meaningful. You still face challenges, but they refine you instead of defeating you. When you're aligned, your energy is maximized, your path is clearer, your connections are more authentic. And the outcomes are more impactful because they were born out of integrity, not insecurity. Comfort feels good, but it rarely leads to growth. It wraps you in routine, soothes you with safety, and convinces you that just enough is good enough. It whispers, "Stay here, you're doing fine," even when something deep in your spirit knows you're built for more. The greatest danger to your calling is not failure, it's comfort, because comfort doesn't shout. It doesn't shock you, it slowly numbs you, it lulls you into settling for less than you were designed to become. Your calling will never come to life in a comfort zone because calling requires courage. It pulls you out of what's familiar and pushes you into what's uncertain. It demands that you stretch, that you take risks, that you walk into rooms where you don't have all the answers. And that's exactly why so many people avoid it. Not because they aren't capable, but because they're too comfortable. The path of purpose is paved with discomfort, with challenge, with unknowns. And yet, that's the soil where greatness grows. Every person you admire, every story of impact, every legacy that moved the world, it was born out of discomfort, out of a decision to do what wasn't easy, to leave behind what was safe, to say yes to something bigger than fear. Because calling doesn't call the qualified, it qualifies the called. But the first test of any calling is this: will you leave your comfort zone behind? Comfort will try to convince you that stability is more important than significance. That predictability is better than possibility, that staying where you are is smarter than becoming who you're meant to be, but purpose lives beyond the edge of comfort. It's waiting for you on the other side of the unfamiliar. And the only way to access it is to take the step, even when your knees are shaking. Growth requires disruption. You cannot evolve and remain unchanged. You can't walk into your calling and hold on to every part of your comfort. Something has to go. Something has to break. Something has to shift. And that's not punishment. It's preparation. Because your next level is going to require a new version of you. A version that's bolder, wiser, more resilient. And you don't meet that version in comfort. You meet it in challenge. Comfort is a silent killer. It doesn't make noise. It just quietly delays your destiny. You keep saying one day, but that day keeps slipping by. You keep waiting for the right time, but there is no perfect moment. The longer you stay in comfort, the harder it is to hear your calling, because comfort doesn't just still your body, it stills your spirit. And soon you forget how to dream, you forget how to leap, you forget how to believe in what's possible. Calling awakens something in you that comfort can't reach. It requires you to trust what you cannot see. It asks you to walk by faith, to act with conviction, to pursue something greater than applause or approval. It shakes you out of passivity. It ignites your fire. And yes, it comes with pressure, but it also comes with purpose. You stop surviving and start living. You stop hiding and start rising. The difference between a life remembered and a life merely lived is often one thing: who was willing to leave the comfort zone, who was willing to stop repeating the same day for years and call it a life. Who was willing to risk discomfort in exchange for destiny. Your calling is waiting, not in the places you've mastered, but in the places you've avoided. It's not where you feel safest. It's where you feel stretched. It's not where everything is predictable. It's where you're forced to grow. Perfection is a trap. It convinces you that everything has to be flawless before you begin, that you need to have all the answers, all the resources, and all the skills in place before you take the first step. It tells you that unless it's polished, it's not worthy, that unless it's certain, it's not ready. But purpose doesn't wait for perfection. Purpose shows up when you move with faith, when you say yes before you see how. When you step even when the path isn't clear. Faith is the fuel that drives purpose forward. It's not about confidence in your own strength. It's about belief in something greater than what you can calculate. Faith says, I may not feel ready, but I know I'm called. Faith says, I don't have the full picture, but I trust the process. Faith moves even when the fear is loud. Faith builds even when doubt is screaming. That's the mindset purpose requires, because the road won't be smooth and you won't always feel equipped. But faith doesn't need evidence to take action. The pursuit of perfection paralyzes progress. You can spend years planning, preparing, polishing, and never actually begin. You keep waiting for the right moment, the perfect timing, the guaranteed outcome. But the truth is, those things rarely show up. If you wait until it's all perfect, you'll miss the purpose you were meant to fulfill in this season. Purpose unfolds step by step. It reveals itself in motion. Clarity comes through action, not hesitation. Every person who made a difference started somewhere uncertain. They didn't have it all figured out. They just had the courage to start. Faith over perfection means showing up with what you have. It means using your voice before it's fully developed, sharing your message before the world fully understands it, leading before you feel like a leader. It means being obedient to the call, not the comfort. You're not called to be flawless. You're called to be faithful. Faithfulness builds momentum, and momentum builds mastery. Excellence is achieved through practice, not paralysis. People spend so much time trying to avoid mistakes that they never make impact. But mistakes are part of the process. Growth requires missteps. Learning comes from doing, not just thinking. If you're too afraid to mess up, you'll never move up. The fear of imperfection keeps you small. But faith pushes you into rooms where your growth will catch up with your gift. It introduces you to parts of yourself that only show up under pressure. There's a reason purpose doesn't demand perfection, because purpose is not about image. It's about impact. It's about being real, being vulnerable, being willing to look foolish for the sake of something meaningful. People connect with your authenticity more than your appearance. They're moved by your courage more than your credentials. And when you show up with raw faith instead of polished performance, you give others permission to do the same. Purpose asks you to trust the invisible, to believe that every step you take, even the awkward ones, even the uncertain ones, are part of a bigger design. You might not feel ready, but the calling is ready for you. You might not feel qualified, but what's inside you is stronger than what's missing. You don't have to fake perfection. You just have to keep showing up with faith. Faith takes the pressure off you to be perfect. It places the pressure where it belongs, on the process, on the commitment, on the purpose itself. Your job is not to control the outcome, it's to stay obedient to the assignment. If you keep waiting to be ready, you'll keep waiting forever. But when you choose faith over perfection, you unlock something powerful. You start living in motion. You start growing through action. You start building momentum that perfection could never offer. There's a divine alignment that happens when you step into purpose. Most people are out here chasing things, success, love, influence, clarity, as if they're somewhere out there, far away, just beyond reach. They search endlessly, thinking fulfillment is something they have to find. But purpose doesn't work like that. Purpose isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you activate, and the moment you activate it, what you're seeking starts making its way to you. There are doors that won't open through force. There are opportunities that won't come just because you work harder or speak louder. Some things are attracted to who you become when you decide to walk in purpose. The career you want, the peace you crave, the clarity you've been praying for, it's not waiting at the end of some far-off journey. It's tied to your decision to align your life with the reason you were born. Purpose is the signal, and when you turn it on, it draws the right things to you. You don't have to chase everything. You just have to become the person who's ready to receive it. That's what purpose does. It transforms you into someone who doesn't just want the thing, but someone who can carry it, sustain it, and multiply it. Purpose doesn't just hand you what you want. It prepares you for what you're made for. You might think you're waiting on the blessing, but the blessing is actually waiting on your alignment. What you're seeking is not somewhere out there in the distance. It's around you, near you, trying to find its way in. But it needs access, and purpose gives it that access. When you show up for your calling, you create space for the very things your heart has been longing for, not because you earned them by striving, but because you positioned yourself to receive them through obedience. There's a frequency that purpose carries. When you start operating in it, you become magnetic to the things that match that frequency. The right people notice. The right ideas come. The timing begins to align. It's not magic, it's movement. It's momentum. The kind that happens when you say yes to what's real instead of what's easy. The kind that shows up when your actions finally reflect your assignment. You've been taught to search, to run after success, to grind endlessly. But what if the most powerful shift isn't in running harder, it's in aligning deeper? What if everything you've been seeking is already prepared, already moving, already designed to find you once you lock into who you were made to be? That's the quiet truth people overlook in their chase for more. The real key is not out there, it's inside. And when you unlock it, the external begins to respond. You don't need to be more impressive. You need to be more intentional. You don't need to do what everyone else is doing. You need to do what you were born to do. Purpose simplifies everything. It cuts through the noise. It shows you what's meant for you and what isn't. It brings clarity that no amount of hustle can buy. It gives you direction that striving can't replace. And as you walk it out, life begins to respond differently. The things you're chasing aren't running from you. They're waiting for the right version of you to show up, the version that's aligned, the version that's not distracted, the version that's not driven by fear or ego, the version that's ready to carry what comes with the blessing. Purpose grows that version of you, and when you commit to it, when you live from it, the search stops feeling like a race. It starts feeling like a rhythm where what you're seeking is already on its way.